We call him Killer. It's not scary, it's not scary. KILLA Samaroo.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. First, I must say this is the first time in my entire drum career, which is 45 years, I'm doing this. Never made a public speech, never talk. Right? So that is the first opportunity the young drummers have, right? I is not the type of person to talk. I rather play than talk, which I would prefer not do this evening too. Right? Okay, my career is on a different angle in the sense of it comes from a family unit. I'm the last of 13 children, right? My mom died when I was 2 months old. At that time, having 13 children, I mean, I was what? When I started to play, I was 5 years old, 5.5. But drum wasn't my passion. I didn't start drums. It was given to me to play. I don't know if you all ever heard about Samaroo Kids. We started in 1967. Right, so it's a long, long time. And to keep the family together, at least the last 7, I mean, Jit Samaroo would be, you know, a name everybody would know. He's the person that takes the mantle to keep the last 7 of the family together. So he was about 16, 17 years old, and we started there. And he said, well, listen, you will play percussion. Because we started as a little singing group, and then we get some pants. He used to play with a band. We became one of the better players in the band, arranging. And then the band had us to go Bermuda, a band they called Eva Kambule, and they dropped him from the tour. And they had some discarded instrument, and he asked them for it. They said, well, yes, man, we need to clean up the yard. You could take that. And that is how the band starts. So he said, well, you play drum, you play tenor pan, you play double stack, as the case may be. 7 of us, right? So it's not that I had, you know, a passion for drum at that time. So it started from there. And in them times, I couldn't even buy a pair of drumsticks. I used to play with bamboo. Because 13 children, we real poor, come from a farming area, you know, so it was real struggle. And boy, we had to work day and night, practice, you know, and I remember I started playing at the Trinidad Hilton at the age of 6 years old. We played at the Hilton for 35 years, right? And I'm mentioning this, and I'm saying this because I feel it means a lot today in the sense of what's happening in the country today with family life and what music could do for you. Not drums as a whole, but music. You know, it's such a love, we could keep it together. It's, you know, sometimes, even now I talking about it, I get pretty emotional. So you'll have to excuse me. But I mean, drums on the whole has taken me all part of the world. I work with endless, I can't even remember names, but I really grew up in a steel band scenario. I work with, for years, you know, sometimes I'm doing 6 and 7 bands for Panorama. And within a short season, so it takes a lot, but people wanted your service. You know, they need somebody who understands the music, who understands the steel band drumming. I mean, I did a lot of recording. I remember my first album I did was, I was about 15 years old. I did drums for Crazy Sock Masukuya. Boy, I panicked in the studio. Never went in the studio yet, you know. When I reached in, and you had to record on track. And my foot bass couldn't keep it, and needle going tick, 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 tick. You know, but I made it through. And he come in when we would march too, so that was good, you know. So all these things, I work with, as I say, I play all different type of music. Classical music, I did timpani and snare and cymbals and, all the percussion line come down. Today, well, the last recording I did, Calypso recording, I did was Shadow, Stranger. I did the whole album, drums, percussion, everything. He wanted to match with that too, right? I think, and otherwise, I did so much of 3-piece band, 4-piece band, playing in hotels, thing. But at the end of the day, it was hard work, and now it become a passion to me. Today, this year will make it 45 years of playing. I kind of spend more time now on teaching. I teach at Costa, I teach at UE, teach at Birdsong Academy, plus I have my own private thing at Birdsong Academy itself, signing up students with Trinity for their grades in drums. So, drums has done so much for me with my whole life, so I don't know what to say again in the sense of thing, but what I could tell you is that all these young people out here, be yourself as a drummer. We got to learn from all these rehearsal drummers. You listen to them and you learn their chops and whatnot and thing. But everybody want to be, at least that is my observation, especially with youth. Everybody want to be a Weckl and everybody want to be a Dennis. So, nothing wrong with listening to them because we all have to listen because there is, the best of the drummers you could hear. But if you don't be yourself, then you will face some problems because when you go outside there, they will say, but wait, this drummer sounding like X, Y, Z. And this is how you get job. When somebody hire you, they want your style, they want your feel, they want your groove. You understand? So you gotta understand that. And as Barry was saying, if you do how we think good, then you can't have nobody else think good. You got to play your thing because you can't go out there. But we experience traveling and playing and with other musicians and things outside there. You can't go out there to play jazz with them fellas. You can't go out there to play funk with them fellas because they would mash you up. But when you could drop a good soca or Caribbean rhythm, they are amazed at that. Because yes, they could play it, but they can't play it with the groove and the feel that you have. It's like, it's strange enough to use this example. It's like taking an Indian orchestra and tell them play a calypso. You would hear the Indian finishing it. Oh, serious, come on. I remember when I worked with Shadow, I recorded it in the studio before, and a lot of you, some of you wouldn't know Eric, but he was the engineer in South Kidder. And the day before I recorded, and then when I reached home in the night, he called me. He said, "KILLA, Shadow was drummer for in the morning, and I tell him I could get you." I said, "Okay, fine. What time?" 9 o'clock. All right. Going down in the studio. I carried on a new brand kit, I tune it and everything. So when I reach in the studio now, Shadow come in. So I sat down in a corner. He said, "Eric." Eric said, "I thought I'd tell you a drummer for me." He said, "Yeah, look, that fella sit down there." He said, "Oh, he can play drum?" So he said, "Well, yeah, we go try." So I go on and setting up my kit, and he come down, he watch me. He say, "You have a nice kit there, I hope it's not a biscuit, And he start from there. And he start from there, And Shadow is one of the strangest person to work with, in the sense that if you can't play, you really can't work with him. Because he keep changing things every minute. Yeah, play this here, now take off that day, put this here, But it's no self-praise to me, but anything he say he wanted, I give him, so we record from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 the next morning. There's 13 tracks we do. I remember, he wanted some African drums in one of the tracks. So he said, Eric, we need to get some African drummers. He said, all right, I'll call somebody. They call a group come down. So they reach in the studio, man, the guys and them could well play. And they start to play. He said, all right, we're ready to think. He said, well, I put on them headphone there. So all you hear in that headphone is click, 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 click. He says, so when I hear the count, I'll start. Boy, pressure is out of time study. Fellas can't play in time with that click. Shadow, good. I listening to them. So I said, Shadow, is that what you want? He said, yeah. He said, you could do that? I said, well, I go try something, you know. But I grew up in that. I mean, Lupino in the village is like Kalaloo, you know. You grew up in Paran. My mother was East Indian, playing tabla and dulak and thing, you know, and pan. And so it's everything in one. So I was that. I was in Best Village. I used to limbo, you know. I started limboing. Yes. I used to limbo under, you all might know that, but some of you youths, it have a Heineken, used to be like, a stag, the long time stag bottle, short, 6.5 inches. I used to limbo below that. But I gave up that for drums. Yeah, so I was telling you what Shadow. So I ended up going and I cut the track and I play down. I said, is that where you want? He said, yeah, boy. So, you know, when we finish and we walk outside, he watched me. You know, not disrespecting anybody or any ethnic group. He said, Killer, you're not Indian and you have good nigga in you, you know, boy. Anyway, people, that's the end of my story, right? But I want to... I really want to encourage the young drummers, according to Barry, you know, you sit down and listen to Alpha, you blow your mind. The first time I heard this song, I said, wow, that's strange, boy. And, you know, when I did Shadow album too for Stranger, a lot of people come by me and say, Killer, I want to teach me some of them fills they do there, especially like, because I wanted it to sound different, you know, I didn't want it to sound the same basic soca kind of thing. So I mix up and play a lot. And when I hear that song, I say, shit, boy, whew. You know, it blew my mind. Alpha, nice work. And all the people here, all the drummers, the young drummers, you know, all you have to do is to strive for betterment. Things don't come easy. At times, you know, you have your ups and downs. At times, you're playing and you're saying, I wonder if somebody go hear me, and, you know. But this is the kind of things you got to go through. I mean, I went through that for years, you know, struggles, playing. And today, I must say that I have achieved a great lot, and now I teach at UWI and Costa, and as I say, so anybody who even interested in signing up to do their grades and whatnot, you know, they could contact me if I have space, because I do one-on-one lessons. It's not like classroom setting, so there's only so much I could do. You know, plus I'm performing and everything, because I still play with Samaroo Jets and we're still traveling and that kind of thing. So people, thanks a lot for having me here this afternoon. I want to personally thank Macasey and the committee for having me here and the rest of the drummers, because this is the first time I have, you know, get recognized as a drummer for my contribution in 45 years. Thank you.
You know, I want to call Alpha to present this award. You know, as you all could see, strange enough, these guys listening to the youths, how much are they listening to these guys? Nobody? Okay then. Yeah.